Well, I think in this particular race, the issue is clear, and that is experience. As a former city councilman, as a former county commissioner, as former mayor of the city of Warren, and as a three-term state representative, I think the choice is clear. I'm a senior member of the Finance Committee. I've introduced important legislation regarding broadband for the state of Ohio. I led the opposition to House Bill 6. I think it's important that we need experience. We need someone that knows their way around government. All the state officials and city officials are in my contacts on my cell phone. I work well with all government entities, and that's the difference in this particular race.
Well, I've owned my own business, Yoder Supported Living Services Incorporated, for more than 25 years. We provide residential services to adults with developmental disabilities. In addition to that, I have served as a Farmington Township trustee. I served one term, and I've also currently served on the Trumbull Transit Board. Economic development and actually recovery from this pandemic and economic development, infrastructure improvement, and I include broadband within infrastructure. A big part of this district, I mean, Warren gets a lot of the press, and it is important, but this district consists of 20 townships, 3 villages in the city of Warren. A lot of those townships are rural, or most of them are rural, and we have issues with rural broadband, and we need to solve those. The final issue is actually it impacts the district, but it also impacts the whole state of Ohio, and that is a little bit of a personal issue for me. Last October, my husband passed away after a 7-year battle with a disease called Lewy body dementia, and dementia in our country is increasing. By 2050, it's estimated that it will the number of people with dementia will triple. And I found over the last 8 years that our systems, both our legal and medical systems, are inadequate for that. And so I want to form a dementia task force to help improve that and to analyze what needs to be done to fix that, particularly within the legal system. I feel like because of my background, both as a professional caregiver and my issues with my husband, I think that I am uniquely qualified to lead that task force.
Well, first of all, we need to really address the economic development downfalls because of the COVID crisis. And because of the COVID crisis, we whether it be the unemployment, the educational processes, the basically whatever the state can do to assist people during this pandemic issue. Second of all, to follow through with a broadband bill that we've successfully passed in the House and in the Senate, waiting for the governor's signature. We'll follow through on that to really have access for broadband for the entire state of Ohio. And also, number 3, I think it's important to repeal House Bill 6. I've introduced a legislation to repeal House Bill 6, and I think that that's something that's the most corrupt piece of legislation in this last century in the state of Ohio, and I think it's important that that issue be appealed. Well, it is clear that through my years of experience, I've been a government official for 35 years. I know my way around the government. I've worked with not just local officials, state officials, but federal officials, and I've been successful over the years. This will be my 28th election, and I've been successful in all 27 elections before that.
Well, my opponent is a career politician. He's been running for office since I was a teenager. And holding office since I was a teenager. I have a much more diverse background. In addition to having owned my own business, and I like to tell people, I lived paycheck to paycheck and I've signed paychecks, which makes me a little bit different than my opponent. I also have served in the community, in community organizations. I've led efforts. I do have public service experience as well. So I feel like my experience is far more diverse and will help me be a better representative. I'm absolutely opposed to defunding the police. I stand with law enforcement. Listen, in every field there are bad apples, right? In my field, in developmental disabilities, with folks, we have caregivers who don't do their jobs. We obviously need to weed out people who don't do their jobs in every field, right? But the police overall do a fine job. They aren't always as well paid, and they work very hard. And I have police officers within my family as well, and I've seen the toll that the job takes on them, on all our first responders. So absolutely opposed to defunding the police.
Well, it's interesting that in the state budget and cities' budgets, years and years, they've stripped local government fund away from cities and away from counties and away from townships. Local government fund goes into city budgets. 92% of cities' budgets, of counties' budgets, and of township budgets are dedicated to first responders. So for years, the state of Ohio has taken money away from firefighters, taken money away from police officers, as far as the city's budgets and the county's budgets are concerned. So it's ironic that they would talk about giving less money when, for years, the state of Ohio has given less money to cities, less money to townships, less money to counties. That's just defunded first responders, defunded police departments, and that's what they've been doing for years. And it's important to really point that out and recognize that. My background is I worked for the Warren Police Department as a corrections officer for 3 years. I was a probation officer in juvenile court. I'm very attuned with the criminal justice system and how much money it needs to operate effectively. I think that any kind of conversation that Democrats are defunding is a ridiculous assessment. The Republicans have been defunding this for years by stripping money from the local government fund. Right, and I'm very involved with the Youngstown Warren Regional Chamber. That, it's the regional chamber, it's development agencies, it's Jobs Ohio. Those are the companies those are the people that work towards attracting businesses. Cities, counties, and legislators make the amenities, whether we extend sewer lines, extend water lines, like the work we did work we accomplished in the western part of Trumbull County by the Blueprint to Prosperity, by making it easier for people to tap into water lines and run water lines on the western part of Trumbull County so businesses can attract there. You need the important amenities, you need the infrastructure, and that's where the cities, counties, and the state government can be a part of. But working with Jobs Ohio, funding Jobs Ohio, and working with the regional chamber and the Port Authority and a host of agencies. And again, I've been working with those agencies for years. We've had success in Lordstown. We've had some success in different sections of the Mahoning Valley, and we need to work on that and continue to work with those agencies.
Well, and again, it's much more of a general plan, but I think, having someone in the majority is always a good thing because the benefits to the valley will happen because of that. But overall, economic development happens when you do things like have less regulation and lower taxes. And so I know that within the Senate and also within the House as well, there's an effort towards working towards reducing regulations and having, if you have a new regulation, you have to take off 2 or 3 of the old regulations. So absolutely, I think that will help. And I think just advocating for things to happen and being that advocate in the House and in Columbus.